Before we start the video, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I appreciate all the support I received from you. And as always, all the information in my videos is rumors taken from the internet or the street. I'm not saying the information is fact.
Pick your mans up.
Just because people used to come through shooting us every day. And this block, words can't even explain. Can't even explain.
Yeah, man.
Little School Valley, 05 way on money.
Young Money, man. They in the building.
600 boy, LA, man. LA Capone, man. Get it to him, man. OC2 boys, man. Team
Number 9, man. Number 9 shooter. You hear me?
Hey, bitch, you little bitch. Yeah. What the fuck is wrong with you? Hey, I am Brick Squad. Yeah, Brick Squad, boy. What the fuck is you talking about, boy?
You have to be willing to die or go to jail for 100 years if that's the lane that you're stepping in. You have to understand that whether you're 15, 16, you got to think like a man. You know what I'm saying?
So don't be in it. Oh, you're not? Why does everybody say you're only 16 years old?
They say what they want to say.
How old are you?
300.
The story of Sirconn City Gangsters, Part 2. Welcome to the second part of the history of the Sirconn City Gangsters. In Part 1, we broke down how the gang was originally created, the early murders and beefs, and ended with the killing of Moose from LPC/Pocket Town, who was allegedly took out by Hollywood from Sirconn City during a home invasion that went sideways. In this video, we're picking up right where we left off in 2012. We're going to dive deeper into the ongoing war with Pocket Town and East End, along with several other conflicts they were juggling at the time. But more importantly, we're going to focus on the brutal internal war between two factions within Sirconn City itself. This internal friction has plagued the set for years and has claimed the lives of multiple members. These insider conflicts have gotten so messy that they've basically taken all the focus away from their external rivals. It's reached a point where sets like Pocket Town and East End haven't even had to put in work. They've just been able to sit back and watch Sirconn City tear itself apart from the inside. We start this video with the murder of Rara from the Sirconn City Gangsters, which was a direct consequence of the raging war between the Sirks and the Pocket. The shooting took place on April 8, 2013, right outside of James Madison Elementary School, causing a tense 20-minute lockdown on the campus. Rara, whose real name was Robert Golson, was 28 years old and just walking down the sidewalk on the 7400 block of South Dorchester Avenue when three offenders started walking toward him. At least one of them pulled out a weapon and started letting off shots in Ra's direction, striking him heavy in the chest. Rara was rushed to Northwestern Memorial Hospital in critical condition, but tragically, he was later pronounced dead. After the shooting, the three offenders fled the scene and were later spotted by police entering a nearby residence. The cops swarmed the building, conducted a search, and arrested all three suspects. They were hauled into interrogation rooms and questioned heavily about the murder, but they were ultimately released without charges, most likely due to a lack of solid evidence to make them stick. When it comes to the alleged shooters, the three names that have been heavily linked to this murder are KTS Vaughn, Spook, and Denny G from Pocket Town. Because no names were officially listed in the police incident report, this remains technically unconfirmed. However, the reports did include physical descriptions for two of the offenders on the scene. One of those descriptions matches Spook perfectly, while the other fits KTS Vaughn, though Vaughn's description is generic enough that it could fit a lot of people, keeping it a bit uncertain. That being said, sources and the paperwork strongly point to Spook being one of the alleged killers on that drill. A parent to a 7-year-old boy who is a student at the school said she was shocked that she did not get the call about the shooting from the school. Her son was the first to tell her about it. However, according to police, fortunately no school children were near where the shooting occurred. The school later issued memos to the parents explaining what had happened and how they would handle the situation. However, many of the parents were not happy with the information. The memo mentions an incident that occurred on the grounds of Madison Elementary School, but is vague on details and does not mention a shooting at all. An incident is that somebody got arrested, not that someone got killed, Ann said, the mother to the 7-year-old boy. Kids are in a lose-lose situation. They're not safe at school, not safe at home. Where can I run and hide to raise my kids? She added. Ghazi, 56, who has owned the nearby J&J fast food on the corner of 75th and Dorchester for 15 years, said he saw 3 men emerge from an alley behind his shop and watched as one fired 2 shots at the man across the street. The man stumbled several times before falling, Ghazi said, who said he formerly worked as a police officer in Jordan for 20 years. The shooter just walked away. He did not care or nothing, he said. Ghazi said he called police while school security tended to the man. If I see a shooting, I call the police. You see something, you talk, he said. Just 4 months after Ronnie Moe's death and 2 months after the murder of Rara, Pockettown and Spook would show that they really meant business with their promise to anyone who dishonored Ronnie Moe. Just days after Ronnie Moe died in that fatal car crash, several members from the Sirconn City Gangsters started heavily mocking his death online. It wasn't really a surprise that they did, considering Ronnie Moe had repeatedly clowned Jono from the Circs while he was alive. One of the guys who went the hardest mocking Ronnie was Pharaoh from Sirconn City. He took straight to Facebook, posting disses like, "God do not like the ugly shorty who disrespected Jono, now he's dead, talk about don't go Jono, he went Rodney, and, stay in your lane, or you are going to crash and die." However, the internet trolling wasn't the only reason Pockettown put a target on Pharaoh's back. To my knowledge, Pharaoh wasn't just a keyboard warrior, he was an active shooter for the Circs, making him a top priority target for the Pocket. Pharaoh's killing went down on May 25, 2013. Denny G was behind the wheel rolling through traffic in a gray Buick Riviera, riding out with Killa Spook and K-Dog from Pockettown. KTS Vaughn, who would later mock Pharaoh heavily online, might have been in the mix too. Street rumors are split, with some saying Denny G was driving while others claim it was actually KTS Vaughn behind the wheel. At the time, Pharaoh was living with his 82-year-old father, Zebedee Denard, who had adopted him when he was just 2 years old. Pharaoh had just left the house to change out of his basketball clothes when he met up with a girlfriend in an alley on the 7300 block of South Dorchester Avenue, less than half a block from his doorstep. That's when the gray Riviera pulled up. K-Dog and Spook allegedly jumped out of the car and immediately started letting off shots. The girl fled in a total panic while Pharaoh was hit and collapsed to the ground. Spook and K-Dog then stood over him, shooting Pharaoh multiple times directly in the face before running back to the car and tearing away from the scene. Pharaoh Denard was only 18 years old. When the police found him, he was actually still breathing, but tragically, he was pronounced dead right there on the scene. Upstairs in the apartment, 82-year-old Zebedee Denard heard the shots but wasn't physically able to make the walk downstairs to the alley where his adopted son lay. "I figured it wasn't him," he later said. But the brutal reality set in when one of his son's friends came up to deliver the grim news. That very same night, family and friends gathered near the exact spot in the alley where Pharaoh had been fatally shot in the head. A family friend named Jennifer spoke out, saying Pharaoh loved to rap, play basketball, and was just a typical kid. The family strongly rejected any street or gang ties as the motive for his death. They proudly recounted a trip from 2008 when Pharaoh was chosen as one of the top students in his class to travel to Washington, D.C. and meet former President George W. Bush. Meeting the president had a profound effect on him, giving him a rare chance to get out of the neighborhood and see something different. "This neighborhood is at war," Jennifer stated plainly. "We're in a community that needs more voices." The alley where Pharaoh was executed sat directly next to his former school, James Madison Elementary. The crazy part is that this specific area was a total killing field for the set. Jono, Rara, and now Pharaoh were all killed right next to James Madison Elementary. The violence right outside the school gates got so bad that after Rara's murder, the police department actually had to issue official memos to parents instructing them on how to handle the trauma and find counseling if their kids needed someone to talk to. As many of you already know, the mockery of Pharaoh absolutely flooded social media right after the murder, especially from KTS Vaughn, Denny G, Spook, and several other KTS and Pocket Town members. KTS Vaughn was particularly brutal, posting, "Pharaoh from Sirconn new name is Fried Face," and even messaging Pharaoh's girlfriend directly to taunt her, saying she knows Pharaoh caught face shots. There really were no boundaries when it came to the disrespect. Denny G from Pocket Town practically admitted to being on the scene with his social media posts. He dropped tweets like, "People going Pharaoh when I go on hits," and "People be scared looking like Pharaoh when we rolled up," which was a direct wordplay on Lil Jojo's famous track Tied Up. The disrespect didn't stop back then, either. Denny G mocked Pharaoh as recently as January 2025, rapping the line, "Don't be like Pharaoh, get left by the trash," and throwing more disses at him in his song every day. People were throwing disrespectful comments all over the place, and they still do to this day. Spook also clowned Pharaoh multiple times in tweets. An interesting piece of history there is that Spook actually had personal history with him, having beat Pharaoh up in the past alongside Tato and a few other members. Not too long after losing Rara and Pharaoh back-to-back, Sirconn City took another hit when they lost their rapper, Trife. He was part of the Kaiser family, the same family I broke down in the first part of the Pocket Town history. Trife was shot and killed by two unknown offenders. While it very easily could have been Pocket Town, it's never been confirmed, and I haven't seen any members from the Pocket really mention him or claim the hit online. The Sirks would eventually get a small piece of Get Back the following year. In 2014, members from the Sirconn City Gangsters caught up with Spook and ended up shooting him in the foot. Sirconn City was desperately looking for revenge after the murders of Rara and Pharaoh. But instead of taking out a rival member, they ended up killing an innocent little boy. On August 20th, 2014, 4 Sirconn City members were riding around Pocketown territory, looking to score and get their get back. They spotted 2 rival members on the block, and one of the guys in the car handed a gun to another passenger, telling him to hop out and open fire. He took the weapon and jumped out of the vehicle, but just as he was about to shoot, a 9-year-old boy named Antonio Smith Jr. accidentally got in the way. The little boy apparently tried to warn the intended targets, but instead, he became the target himself and was tragically shot and killed. After the murder, it turned into a massive manhunt to track down the killers. The local community and several faith-based organizations were so outraged they put together a $13,500 reward for any information leading to an arrest. Just a few days later, the police got their big break. Jabari Williams, a well-known Sirconn City member by the name Montana, was brought in on an unrelated unlawful use of a weapon charge. While in custody, he ended up making self-incriminating statements regarding Antonio's murder. After further interrogation, Montana gave up the names of the 3 other people in the car, Lil Mike, Lil Paris, and the actual shooter, Lil Billy, who was the one Montana handed the gun to. It was later revealed that when Lil Billy hopped back into the getaway car after the shooting, he straight up told Montana, "I just hit a shorty." All 4 men were hit with first-degree murder charges. It is completely clear that this drill was intended as direct revenge for Pharaoh's murder, especially considering Pharaoh's own twin brother, Lil Paris, was sitting right there in the car during the hit. The following year, 2015, Sirconn City took 2 more major losses back-to-back when they lost Suto and Chinao. Suto was only 16 years old when he was killed after catching multiple shots to the chest and neck on the 1400 block of East 73rd Street, right near where he lived. Suto, whose real name was Amari Sutton, had actually survived a drill a year prior almost at the exact same location, where he was shot in the armpit but managed to pull through. After his death, his people created Suto Way to honor his memory. His killing brought heavy mockery from Pocket Town, Moose Block, and Mall Town, with Lil Art from Pocket Town even dissing him on the track Space Jam. Street rumors strongly point to Bud from Moose Block, who was a prominent figure on his block, as the one responsible for Suto's murder. Bud later passed away in July 2021 due to liver failure. Just a week after Suto was killed, Sirconn City lost Chinao. Chinao dual claimed both Sirconn City and 051 Young Money, but he didn't die at the hands of a Sirconn rival. Instead, he was taken out by one of 051's main opposition, the 600 set. The word on the street is that Blast His Ass from 600 was the shooter, and some rumors even placed 600 Breezy on the scene, though that part remains unconfirmed. Just a month after Suto and Chinao were taken off the board, it was KTS's turn to take a massive loss. In September 2015, KTS Vaughn was shot and killed. The most widely accepted story is that he was ambushed and killed by Mad Max, Choppa, and Mally from NLMB. However, a lot of people still speculate that Sirconn City might have had something to do with it as a desperate play for get back, especially since they had just lost multiple members and ended up losing another affiliate just 4 days after Vaughn died. Despite the Sirconn rumors, the heavy consensus points directly to the NLMB trio. Looking at where those guys ended up, both Choppa and Mally are currently behind bars facing separate murder charges. Choppa was locked up for a reckless situation where he killed an innocent store clerk over a blunt, while Mally is facing charges for allegedly killing Jeezy from MTG079, which was retaliation for the 2015 murder of NLMB Capo. Just 4 days after Vaughn was killed, Pocket Town slid on Sirconn City Gangsters, executing Lil Eric right on his block. The 21-year-old, whose real name was Eric Turner, was standing outside near his home in the 7300 block of South Dorchester Avenue. That's when Lil Don and Denny G from Pocket Town allegedly stepped out of a nearby gangway and opened fire, hitting Lil Eric multiple times before running off. He was rushed to Northwestern Memorial Hospital but was tragically pronounced dead. Lil Don practically confirmed his involvement on the track Certified, rapping, 2014, I supposed to have caught them bodies, 2015, I finally caught them bodies. In that same song, he also dropped the line, Ace Boogie and Kuzo G, I know you guys remember, which points directly to different occasions back in 2014 when Lil Don allegedly shot both of them. Fortunately, both survived. For context, both Ace Boogie and FGM Kuzo G are from Sirconn City. Lil Don is easily one of Pocket Town's most prominent street factors. He is also heavily rumored to have taken out an older guy from Drill City named Joe alongside K-Dog. For a long time, internet rumors speculated that Spook was also on the Lil Eric hit, but that's completely false. Spook had actually been locked up 2 months prior on an unlawful use of a weapon charge, which ended up landing him a sentence of over a year in prison. That wasn't his first gun trouble either. He had been hit with multiple weapon charges back in October 2011 as well. Sirconn City didn't wait long to answer back. Exactly 1 month after Lil Eric was taken off the board, Boss Josh from Pocket Town was shot and killed. According to an arrest report, the Sirks were definitely behind it, with Jody G being the one arrested. However, street sources also note that Boss Josh wasn't really a street factor like that. He was heavily loved by the Pocket, but he wasn't active on drills. He was essentially targeted just because of who he hung out with. While Pocket Town honors him heavily to this day, they openly acknowledge he was an innocent bystander who wasn't about that street life. In 2016, Sirconn City took a rare break from the heavy casualties, losing only one member that entire year. His name was Nemo, and he was killed in September directly outside of his home in Ducktown. There is almost zero information out there about the specifics of this shooting, and I have no clue who was actually behind the trigger. However, the location and the details indicate that his death wasn't actually tied to any of Sirconn City's active block wars. The following year, in early June 2017, Sirconn City lost another member when Lil Ant was taken off the board. And, whose real name was Anthony Galvin Jr., tragically died in the hospital 3 days after catching a gunshot wound directly to the head. The shooting went down while he and 2 of his friends were standing on the sidewalk on the 1500 block of East 74th Street. Someone pulled up and opened fire on the group, striking all 3 of them. While Lillard's 2 friends luckily managed to survive their injuries, and it wasn't so fortunate. The streets strongly rumor that Pocket Town was behind the hit to keep the pressure on the Sircs, though the specific names of the shooters on that drill remain unknown. The next year, only a week into 2018, Sirconn City lost yet another member when Pooh was taken off the board. Pooh was an older member and one of the absolute originals from the set. He was killed alongside his cousin Jordy from Bacaw Hood, who was also an older, established member. The double homicide was carried out by a man named Stanley Williams, who had literally stalked the 2 of them the entire evening, following them from one club to another, and finally cornering them in an alley. Williams allegedly pulled the trigger because Jordy had shot his cousin 3 years prior. In a crazy twist, just minutes after executing the 2 of them, Stanley called that same cousin to let him know the job was done. Because of the personal nature of the hit, this situation had absolutely nothing to do with Sirconn City's ongoing block beefs. A year and a half later, in September 2019, Sirconn City took another hit when high-speed Vert met a brutal end. Vert was set up and shot in the head multiple times in an alley on the 11,300 block of South Purnell Avenue, and he was pronounced dead right there on the scene. While the exact shooter remains unknown, rumor is that he was backdoored by people he knew. Vert was a highly visible member of the set, widely known for being the designated driver on drills and heavily involved in robbing people. We have now arrived at the year 2020, when everything would change forever in Sirconn City. A single murder would go down that completely split the set into 2 bitter camps who are actively trying to kill each other to this day. It all started over petty block drama. Tej from Sirconn ended up sleeping with a girl that Cinny, another Sirconn member, had feelings for. Cinny retaliated by stealing Teeth's gun and running off with it. The 2 immediately took to Facebook, publicly threatening each other back and forth until some of the older guys from the block stepped in and told them to squash the internet talk. After some time passed, Cinny actually cooled off and was prepared to apologize and return the weapon. A link-up was officially orchestrated so Cinny could hand the gun back and they could finally put the beef to bed. Instead, it ended in complete disaster. On June 9, 2020, around 5:19 p.m., on the 1500 block of East 74th Street, the 2 met up. Cinny apologized and handed over the stolen gun exactly as planned. But the second Tej received the weapon, he turned it right on Cinny and shot him multiple times directly in the chest. Cinny was pronounced dead right there on the scene. Word of the backstabbing spread like wildfire through the neighborhood, instantly creating a massive rift that divided Sirconn into 2 distinct sides, 1400 and Sin City. The lines were drawn heavily based on family ties and clout. On one side, Tej was the cousin of FGM Kuzo, who was pretty much the undisputed leader of that specific generation. On the other side, Cinny was the cousin of Mig, a main factor for the younger generation. In response to the murder, Mig's crowd officially created Sin City to honor Sinny's memory. The split was now official, and everyone in the city knew about it, including their enemies. While it functions mostly as an older versus younger generation divide, it really comes down to specific crowds and bloodlines. You still have some shorties claiming FGM, and some older guys locking in with 1400 Sirconn, a name taken from their main block at 1400 East 75th Street. As a direct result of this internal warfare, the younger half under Sin City completely dropped the GD label altogether, moving away from the Gangster Disciple movement to reclaim the title of Sirconn Disciples, the original name of the set from back in the day. Almost exactly 1 month later, the momentum shifted back in the other direction. KTS and Pocket Town took a massive blow when they lost Rio G, who was the younger brother to Lil Lay, King Rico, and Lady Shaw. The hit went down while Rio G was sitting inside a vehicle parked at a gas station on the 7000 block of South Daman Avenue. He was in the car with 3 others, a 37-year-old man, a 14-year-old boy, and a 16-year-old boy. Out of nowhere, a silver SUV pulled up on them. 2 shooters immediately jumped out of the SUV and opened fire directly into Rio G's vehicle. Rio G, who was 24 years old, caught multiple shots and was rushed to the hospital, where he was pronounced dead. The 2 teenagers inside the car managed to survive the ambush after taking bullets to the back and right arm respectively, while the 37-year-old man escaped the gunfire completely uninjured. When it comes to who pulled off the drill, the streets are divided into 2 main theories. The first theory points the finger directly at the Sirconn City Gangsters. The motive was clear, as Rio G had been dissing Sinny online right after he was backdoored, on top of already being a high-profile target for the set. According to inside sources from within Sirconn, they were responsible for the hit. While specific names for the shooters haven't surfaced, signs point to the younger shorties executing the drill, since they were the ones closest to Sinny and were actively sliding behind his name and under Sin City. The second theory is that NLMB was behind Rio G's murder, which seems more plausible for several reasons. Lil Don and other Pocket Town members have repeatedly indicated that Rio G was No Limit's work, while several NLMB members have openly mocked Rio G and claimed responsibility for the hit. Lil Don even posted "Long Live Rio G" on January 28, 2022, the 1-year anniversary of the murder of NLMB's Lil Greg. After No Limit members posted tributes to Greg, Lil Don responded with mockery and the message honoring Rio G, strongly pointing toward NLMB's involvement. While there is a chance No Limit is falsely claiming the hit, nobody from Pocket Town has denied their responsibility. The specific No Limit members rumored to be behind the shooting are Pharaoh and Lil Loss, both part of a small, prominent subset within No Limit known as Drench Gang. There is an overlooked theory regarding Pharaoh's specific motive for targeting Rio G, tracing back to a homicide 9 years prior. On June 2, 2011, Rio G was rumored to be involved in the murder of 26-year-old Randall Cummins, known as Lil Black or Boss Blizz. Lil Black was a member of Money Mafia/NLMB. Pharaoh is actually one of the 2 children Lil Black left behind after his death. If these street rumors are accurate, this personal retaliation explains why Pharaoh, who was only 16 years old in 2020, went after Rio G. Beyond this personal connection, Rio G was also linked to several other shootings and murders targeting both No Limit and Sirconn City members, which kept a target on his back. Pharaoh has since mocked Rio G multiple times in his music and on social media. In his track Real Facts, Pharaoh rapped, Rio got hit and they left him twitching, and followed it up with, Rio got hit and y'all ain't get your get back. The war between Pocketown and Sirconn City raged on for the rest of the year, and more bodies would be dropped. When you look at the history, this conflict is one of the longest running and most volatile in Chicago. It has been going on for decades, and casualties steadily pile up despite Sirconn's internal rift pulling a lot of their focus away from external rivals. Only 2 months after the murder of Rio G, Pocketown lost K-Dog, who was also known as Kivo. K-Dog, whose real name was Kevin Forbes, was 28 years old when he was shot and killed on the 6900 block of South Woodlawn Avenue, deep in Pocketown territory. Word on the street is that K-Dog was out with Spook, Lil Raw, and Lil Art when the ambush happened, and his associates reportedly froze up when the shots started ringing out. There is a lot of evidence suggesting Sirconn City was responsible for the hit, mainly because of the immediate retaliation that followed the next day. Data from Sirconn was allegedly one of the killers. K-Dog was a huge score for Sirconn City and an equally huge loss for Pocketown. He was allegedly one of the killers of Pharaoh back in 2013 and Sirconn has been after him ever since. K-Dog is alleged to have been involved in other shootouts and at least one more murder on Sirconn. An innocent man named Jeffrey was killed on the 1400 block of East 73rd Street, which is Sirconn territory. A black SUV pulled up on the block, and an unknown offender opened fire on Jeffrey and his friend. Jeffrey reportedly tried to push his friend out of the way, a move that likely saved his friend's life. While the friend survived the shooting, Jeffrey was tragically pronounced dead at the hospital shortly after. The back and forth continued just a week later when an actual member from Sirconn City named Big Doo-Wop, also known as Big Dookie, was taken off the board. Doo-Wop dual claimed Sirconn City but was also affiliated with Hood Gang and Mix Mob. He was caught and killed in Mix Mob territory on the 1400 block of East 79th Street. Doo-Wop was sitting in a car with a 26-year-old woman when a white SUV pulled up and two gunmen opened fire. The woman was hit but survived her injuries, while Doo-Wop was rushed to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. Following the hit, Doo-Wop was mocked heavily by several Pocketown members, including Denny G, who went to Instagram to post several disrespectful statements about his death. Despite the internet mocking from Pocketown, another prominent theory circulating the streets is that the Pocket didn't actually pull the trigger. Instead, some believe that an internal dispute led to Busy from Hood Gang being the one who killed Big Doo-Wop. Before moving on to 2021, there is one more critical event from 2020 that needs to be covered: the tragic double murder of two innocent teenagers by male from Sirconn City. The incident occurred at approximately 5 p.m. On June 20th, 2020, three teenage boys walked into a neighborhood store in South Chicago to buy candy and had a brief encounter with 19-year-old Malo, who was standing in line. Noticing his height, the boys struck up a polite conversation, asking Melo how tall he was and mentioning that they hoped to grow that tall someday. After the exchange, the three teenagers left the store and began walking home together. According to police reports, Melo followed them out, approached the group, and suddenly opened fire. Jazian Francis, 17, was shot in the back, chest, and left hand. Charles Riley, 16, was shot in the back and left leg. The third teenager managed to run away and escape the gunfire uninjured. Both Jazian and Charles were rushed to the University of Chicago Hospital, but tragically died from their injuries. Surveillance cameras in the area captured Melo discarding a handgun into a garbage can shortly after the shooting. Following an investigation, police recovered 9 shell casings from the scene and eventually tracked Melo down to a nearby motel, where he was arrested while hiding out. A week later, a prayer vigil was held near the scene of the shooting to honor the 2 teenagers. He was just a kid, Jazian Francis Sand shared during the memorial. He liked video games, snacks. That was his thing. He would walk into the hospital gift shop daily and purchase snacks. Another aunt added, he was nice to seniors on the block. The nurses looked forward to him coming over there daily. They even brought roses over to the family. They watched him grow up as a child. For a long time, authorities struggled to find a motive for the unprovoked attack. There was no altercation, the police chief stated. There was nothing that would have set off Melo to be angry at these kids. He is about 6 feet 3 inches or 6 feet 4 inches, and they literally just asked him how tall he was because he is extremely tall. The real story behind the tragedy emerged later. A couple of days prior to the shooting, Melo had been jumped by a group of local shorties. When he encountered the teenagers, he apparently mistakenly believed they belonged to the same set that had attacked him. Melo was arrested and charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, where he was held without bond. Court records showed he already had a prior conviction for aggravated unlawful use of a weapon, a charge for which he had previously received probation. In 2025, Melo was officially sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Reflecting on the senseless tragedy, a Sirconn city member later hinted in a vlog that Melo was heavily under the influence of drugs when he committed the murders. The war between Pockettown and Sirconn toned down significantly in 2021. This shift was mainly because Pockettown became locked in a volatile conflict with NLMB after Pockettown killed Lil Greg. NLMB retaliated by taking out Kill a Spook, one of Sirconn's biggest rivals, and later killing KT Stray. With multiple mass shootings breaking out between those sets, the federal government eventually stepped in with a RICO case against Pockettown, locking up a dozen of their members and forcing the block beef with Sirconn into the background. Compared to the chaos of 2020, 2021 was a much quieter year for Sirconn. They only lost 1 member over those 12 months, and it wasn't due to the streets. Tano passed away following an accidental drug overdose. Sirconn also saw one of their major rivals leave the picture that summer. Bud from Moose Block, the prominent member rumored to have killed Suto back in 2015, passed away from a heart attack in the summer of 2021. Other than those events, it was a relatively calm year for the set, marked only by a few brief shootouts with Pockettown and East End. The year 2022 was the complete opposite of 2021. The conflict between Pocket Town and Sirconn ignited once again as bodies began to drop, and Sirconn City also found themselves trading shots with East End. In mid-July, Sirconn City lost Luch, an older member who aligned with the 1400 faction. Luch was discovered on the 1300 block of East 76th Street, an area right on the edge of Sirconn territory, suffering from 6 gunshot wounds, including 1 to the head and 5 to the back. He was rushed to the University of Chicago Medical Center, where he was pronounced dead. While details surrounding the shooting remain scarce, Luch was not a high-profile or widely known member. Street indicators suggest his killing was either the result of Moose Block sliding or a consequence of the ongoing internal strife dividing Sirconn City. The rumor pointing toward Moose Block gained significant traction due to what happened just a week later. Nooch from Moose Block was shot and killed on the 2000 block of West 87th Street in the Auburn-Gresham neighborhood, an area considered Smashville territory. While early speculation attributed Nooch's murder to Raw Town, newer information from my sources indicates that Sirconn City actually executed the hit as direct retaliation for Luch. We have now arrived at the most significant event of 2022 regarding Sirconn City and the ongoing war with Pocket Town. This involves 2 murders that took place just 12 hours apart. First was DJ from Sirconn City, who was killed on December 21, 2022. As mentioned previously, DJ, whose real name was Tyrell Storns, was the member responsible for backdooring and killing Cindy back in 2020. DJ's death went down at a gas station on the 6700 block of South Pulaski Road in the West Lawn neighborhood during a botched robbery. He was riding around with a few other Sirconn members in a Dodge Charger when they pulled into the gas station and allegedly tried to carjack a large Ram truck. Instead of submitting, the occupants inside the truck pulled out firearms and opened fire on the group. TJ was struck multiple times in the legs and torso, and his companions panicked, speeding off in the Charger and leaving him behind at the scene. He was rushed to Christ Medical Center in Oak Lawn, where he was pronounced dead. Even though this shooting was the result of a failed robbery and not a direct consequence of the internal block war, the Sin City faction celebrated his death. They heavily mocked DJ across social media, specifically clowning the fact that he was left behind by his own people after backdooring Cindy 2 years prior. The ones who killed him were allegedly Latin Kings. Just 12 hours after TJ was left at the gas station, another murder went down. While it had no direct connection to the botched robbery that took DJ's life, Sirconn City was the set responsible for it. This was the murder of Big Locke from Pocket Town. Locke, whose real name was Marcus Robinson, was walking along the 7100 block of South Woodlawn Avenue when a stolen Hyundai pulled up next to him. 5 men jumped out of the vehicle armed with a total of 8 firearms. The gunmen unleashed an absolute barrage, firing more than 39 rounds at Big Locke in an intentional overkill. Despite being completely outnumbered, the 24-year-old Locke managed to pull his own weapon and return fire before collapsing to the ground. According to prosecutors, one of the shooters then walked directly over to his fallen body and stood over him, firing final close-range shots before the group piled back into the stolen Hyundai and sped off. Locke was pronounced dead right there on the scene. One of the gunmen on that drill was Lil Fred from Sirconn City's Sin City faction. Because Fred was firmly locked into the Sin City side and was actively beefing with DJ's 1400 crowd before TJ died, this hit was absolutely not get back for TJ. Instead, It was just Fred acting as one of Sirconn's main shooters handling business against an external rival. In June 2023, Lil Fred was arrested and hit with murder and weapons charges related to the ambush, though the murder charges themselves were eventually dropped. Sirconn City clown Big Lock relentlessly online following the hit. Interestingly, NLMB also took to social media to try and claim credit for the drill. This internet clout chasing led many outsiders to believe No Limit pulled off the hit, when in reality, it was Sin City handles on the block. Data from Sirconn City is also rumored to have been on the hit. During Lil Fred's bond hearing, Assistant State's Attorney Ann McCord revealed that the Hyundai used in the ambush had been stolen 2 days prior with the owner's phone still inside. Following the auto theft, fraudulent transactions transferred funds from the victim's bank account to multiple Cash App profiles, including one directly tied to Fred's phone number. Chicago police detectives used surveillance cameras and license plate readers to trace the vehicle's movements. McCord stated that Fred's phone, alongside the GPS tracking device on his court-ordered electronic monitoring bracelet, pinged perfectly along the exact route the stolen Hyundai traveled before, during, and after Big Lock's murder. Fred's defense attorney aggressively pushed back against the ankle monitor evidence, arguing that the technology being utilized was completely and unbelievably unreliable. However, Judge Barbara Dawkins countered that argument, pointing out that Fred's cell phone data mapped out the exact same geographic route as his GPS bracelet. Fred had been placed on electronic monitoring that December while awaiting trial for a separate case he caught the previous September. In that prior incident, Chicago officers spotted him driving a stolen car on the south side and attempted a traffic stop. Fred fled, blowing through at least 6 red lights before slamming into an Illinois State Police squad car. Following that chase, Judge Mariam Ahmad had ordered him to post a $10,000 bail deposit and placed him on house arrest the following day. While the ultimate dismissal of his charges leaves his exact involvement in the Big Lock homicide legally uncertain, the state's timeline paints a wild picture. If he truly did participate in a 5-man overkill drill while wearing an active GPS tracking device, it shows a complete disregard for the system and zero fear of the consequences. The following year, in 2023, Sirconn City suffered a massive blow when they lost one of their top shooters, Day, who was killed on September 9. Day, whose real name was Daquan Turner, was 24 years old when he was targeted around 10 a.m. according to Chicago police. He was standing outside on the 5000 block of West 45th Street when a white sedan pulled up, and a gunman stepped out of the vehicle and fired a barrage of shots into his torso. Day was rushed to Mount Sinai Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. While the exact identities of the shooters remain unknown, most signs point directly to Pocket Town, whose members clowned him relentlessly across social media after the news broke. Taking Day off the board was a major score for the Pocket, as street rumors heavily linked him to the murders of both Kevo and Big Lock. The losses for Sirconn continued to pile up a few months later when they lost Darius. Chicago police stated that Darius was standing in a parking lot on the 1500 block of East 75th Street when an unidentified shooter opened fire. He took a direct shot to the chest and was transported to the University of Chicago Medical Center, where he succumbed to his injuries. Just a month after Darius was killed, Sirconn lost another member named Reese. According to police and the Cook County Medical Examiner's Office, Reese was discovered lying in the street on the 7700 block of South Carpenter Avenue suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. He was rushed to the University of Chicago Medical Center but was pronounced dead shortly after arrival. The murderer of Darius, an OG from Sirconn, was David from Sirconn City, who was later arrested and charged with the murder. This murder is directly related to the internal conflict between Sin City and 1400. Reese, on the other hand, it's unknown who killed him. In December 2025, Sirconn suffered another significant loss when Top Shotta was taken off the board. While the exact identities of the gunmen remain unconfirmed, street speculation immediately focused on Pocket Town, whose members mocked him relentlessly online following the hit. Among the names circulating, K-Man, one of Pocket Town's most active remaining shooters, has been rumored to be involved in the ambush. Following the chaotic back and forth of 2020 and 2021, the momentum in this block war has shifted decisively in Pocket Town's favor on the scoreboard. Sirconn City remains under heavy pressure to find get-back for their fallen members, but mounting casualties combined with key figures sitting behind bars has crippled their ability to organize effective retaliation. In this environment, executing drills becomes incredibly difficult when individuals are forced to move completely on their own. The dynamic changes entirely when a set possesses a hungry group of shorties who constantly push each other to slide daily, a resource Sirconn has struggled to maintain as their roster of active shooters thins out. Moneymakers, however, is not a problem for them. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Stay safe, and may God bless you all. Let me know what you want to see next.